Today's episode of Chat and Chew is sponsored by Be Positive Productions and Multimedia Studios, LLC. I like to think of imagination as something akin to a superpower. Used in the right context for good, it can help bolster our aspirations and propel us closer to our goals. We visualize the outcome of our accomplishments and work toward attaining said thing. However, when used to propagate untruths, reality can become distorted. We no longer know what's real and what's not. The more often we repeat something to ourselves, the more likely it is to become our truth, and the lines between perception and reality begin to blur. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a wrap. Please make sure you follow us on Facebook, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and of course, hit the bell to activate notifications that will remind you when we're on. Please be sure to leave us a comment to let us know how we're doing. We'd love to hear from you.
Hello everyone, this is Glen Warren, founder and executive director of Fathers Forever. I want to share an alarming reality with you. 627,000 fathers are incarcerated that have kids under 18. Now, there are 56,000 moms incarcerated who have kids under 18. The reality is there are so many more fathers incarcerated than moms. This is why I Am a Father Forever book exists. Now, I need your help. I am inviting you to help us get this book into as many fathers incarcerated as possible. Here's how it works. For your donation of $22, we will provide a book to an incarcerated father. Thank you in advance for helping Fathers Forever heal fathers and save families. Welcome to our broadcast today. We're going to have a little bit of fun today. We're going to talk about some couple things. We still on the theme of mothers. I think this is the last week of the month of May, which we celebrate Mother's Day. And so we're going to wrap it up this month by talking about mothers and again, a little bit this last episode. And for this time, we're going to take things a little bit differently than it was last time. I hope all of you guys, everybody had a good opportunity to spend some time with their mothers this past weekend. And, those like us, me, moms are deceased. As a family, we got together and kind of reminisce about mom and, what she meant to us. And so today in the studio, I have my partner in crime, James Jackson. He's also our student for Fathers Forever. We've been doing this broadcast for about a year and a half, just me and him. Then we kind of branched out a little bit. So today he's going to be a part of the broadcast as well, as we got Tamara Chapman from Atlanta, Georgia. She's going to be on virtual, and we're going to be talking to her as well today. So I think, again, our topic today is about mom. So, James, I want to ask you, I'll let you start out first.
Sure.
Just tell us about your mom and, what she meant to you and how you guys grew up together.
First of all, I'm happy to be here.
Okay.
My mother was, I think, now that I had time to reflect, I would consider her, she was an angel.
Okay.
She was just so nice to everybody. Always. If you came over, I don't care how many people were with you, she would have food for you.
Wow.
All the time. Even if she had to take some time and prepare something, but no one came to that house, our parents' house, and didn't get fed.
Right.
So she was known for that. She was also known as a mother who loved her kids and her husband. This was something that I grew up with, having mom cook dinner every day,
Right.
every day. And so it's a little strange now when, you hear that I'm not fixing it, or that you better go get something on your way home, things like that. There was never that happening in our house.
Right.
So my mom was a Christian lady too. She always wanted us to read our Bibles. We had to go to church, so that was
there was a given.
Yeah, and I don't know. Something else about her. She had a sixth sense. I mean, she knew when we were up to no good.
Misbehaving, mischievous.
Yeah, I mean, before we even got started, or even if we were out and came home, and all right, I know y'all did something, So, but all in all, she was a sweet woman. I love her. I miss her. So this past Mother's Day was a little bit hard.
Okay.
Normally, I've been able to deal with it, but since her passing, it just was a time to reflect.
Right.
And, you just embrace those feelings and those thoughts, and we move on. I hope to see her one day.
How long ago since your mom passed?
I believe it was in 2018. So, October 2018. Yeah.
When my mom passed a few years ago, there's sometimes like this mom thing wasn't that bad. I mean, 'cause we just talked with my mom, my siblings and I.
Right.
And so I actually, this year was good because I was still in the midst of a conversation with her. I missed her, but a couple of years ago, it was really tough. I woke up that morning, just hit me like a ton of bricks in the morning. Yeah. And I pretty much cried all day that day for the most part. But this year was real, I was happy. Like I got time to do with my siblings. And we talked about my mom and wanted to broadcast it. And maybe that wasn't really time to cheer me up. Yeah.
I think I might have to take a page out of your book in terms of being around family. Because my family's in Maryland, so I need to be able to, if not go to Maryland, reach out to some friends that are here, just so that it can ease that pain.
Yes. So, Tammy, I want you to tell your audience a little bit about who you are and what you bring to the table in Father Forever. Then I want you to share some thoughts that you had about your mom, and then we're gonna talk about moms in general, and then we get into the fun stuff today. Miss Tammy?
Hello. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Awesome.
You don't look like your normal self. You got your hair all digging up. And they say, don't do it up. I like it. It looks like very nice.
I don't know how I feel about that, Dr. Warren, because I feel like you're calling me out.
Normally you got.
I feel like I need to do better.
Normally you got your producer's hat on, and you got So this time you got your hair out, look a little different.
Yeah.
And the old folks say you clean up pretty good.
Well, thank you very much. I had to make sure that I came correct. So when I appeared on your show, I didn't let you down. But thank you all so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it, and being able to come on for this particular show is pretty awesome too, because I like to speak favorably about my parents whenever possible, and especially my mom for all that she's done for me. But so what was the question again?
The question was, tell us a little bit about yourself. And then tell us a little bit about your mom, and then we're going to broaden the conversation about moms in general, and then we're going to really have some fun about some other things. So just tell us a little bit about you, and talk about your mom.
Okay, it's ironically it's a lot more difficult to sit in front of the camera than it is behind the camera. I love doing that. So, to kind of segue into what I do, I am a film major. I graduated from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill in 1992. And then afterwards, I was fortunate enough to attend a intensive film course up at NYU. And beyond that, I've just kind of been working, writing, and doing things in the area of film and video production. I'm the owner of Be Positive Productions and Multimedia Studios.
Okay.
And in that capacity, I was brought into your organization to help you all with your podcast and some marketing and graphic designs and so forth. And it's just very difficult for me to talk about myself. So I will switch gears and start talking about my mom.
Well, yeah, she is very modest. Tammy is very good at what she does. We have, we started out a couple of years ago, doing this broadcast, and we were doing okay. But Tammy took us from grade school. I think somewhere we might be in high school now. So she's done an excellent job of, helping us with our podcast and helping us take us to the next level. And we really appreciate your skill level and your compassion for what you're doing. So.
Well, you are very welcome. You all make it very easy to help because your organization is doing a lot of really good things. And the work that you're doing makes it very easy for me to participate and try to get in where I fit in. So the fact that you all extended the opportunity for me to come in and help you move to in a different direction with the broadcast and so forth, it means a great deal to me. So again, thank you very much for that opportunity. I'm very blessed that my mom is still a part of my life. We are a very, very tight-knit family, and it'll probably sound very cliche, all of the things that I say about my mom, because I've heard other people on your show come on and say very similar things. But I mean, she's just a wonderful person, first and foremost. I could not have asked for a better mother. She's always been such a great example of what a woman should be. She's very benevolent. Her spirit is very benevolent. That's where I get the whole giving you my last dime.
Right. I know that feeling.
Yeah, me too.
I know that feeling.
I don't really know what else to say about her other than, she's just the epitome of when I think of what a mother should be, I envision my own mom. She was very instrumental in just fostering my creativity.
Okay.
She never said, well, why do you need that? Or I don't understand what this is for. She was just always there, and she always had my back, and she was always very encouraging. My mother is from the Philippines, so she grew up in a very impoverished area. She grew up really hard, but she's extremely smart. She's extremely tenacious, and she perseveres. And my mom is probably one of the strongest women I've ever met. I just love her.
And I think I met your mom at least one time.
Okay.
3 weeks ago. And I got to do that. So, like my mom and James' mom, in my opinion, my mom was the best mom a kid could ever have. And that's been always my motto of what I've been my thinking. So we all can, fortunate enough to raise up with good moms. And some people have not quite been that fortunate. And which kind of, I want to talk about a little bit, coming up, Tammy and James, we've had conversations where a man would introduce the mother of his child to, that's just my baby's mom. They'll say, remember the song came out? It's just my baby's mama? A long time ago. We used to say, the guys would say sometimes, this is my baby's mama. And so we have this saying among ourselves that you can't come to our class and say, my baby. No, we stopped that. You gotta call her by her name. So to say this is my baby's mama, it's to me there's an ultimate disrespect for her, and we stop the guys in their track when they come across that. I just want to kind of put that out there. To me, that's totally disrespectful. And I think when we say that, the guys say that, most of the time there's a negative perception about her. They don't like her for whatever reason, and so you don't respect her enough to even call her name. This is my baby's mom. So
it has been a good turnaround because we see these men catch themselves mid-talk,
Yeah.
mid-conversation, and rephrase it, mother of my child, or her name. So that is that is something good that we do.
Yeah.
When it comes to
Yeah. So I want to ask you a question to both of you. You kind of respond to it. What do you think of the role of a mother is? We kind of talked about it in our home, but in our neighborhood, in our community. What is the role of mother, the matriarch of the family?
Is that question to me or to?
You go first.
Okay.
And let James go. Yeah, ladies first.
Okay, thank you. Well, I believe that a mother is a nurturer. Like I said, my mom is very benevolent, but don't cross her when it comes to her kids, because my mom will stand up and definitely let you know that these are her children. Don't mess with her children. So in that regard, she's also very much a protector. She and my dad both did a really good job of making me and my sister feel very secure. I know a lot of people may different opinion where it comes to this, but I hear people say all the time that their mom is their best friend, but I've never perceived my mom as my best friend, and I only say that because of the whole respect thing.
Right.
My mom was friendly.
Right.
To us, but we could never address my mom the way we would one of our friends.
Exactly. Absolutely. Yeah.
And we were just reared that way. We were reared to have respect for my mom and for people, our elders. There's a certain boundary line that you just don't cross when you are when you are addressing your parents. When I remember when I was about 13 or so, I'd gotten to the age where I just felt like I knew everything, and I had outgrown my mom. My mom was only about 5'1". I didn't outgrow her by much, but I was still taller than she. Well, I guess you'd have to know my father to understand how this works. My dad is career military, very authoritative in nature, but he told me flat out that if I disrespected my mom, I might not live to see. So, I mean, the whole respect thing, it runs very deep. But again, I think that a mom's job is supposed to be there to instruct and to teach and to, help you become who you're supposed to become. They're there to guide you.
I see you took that to your heart. You still live it.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said about that. Some parents, and I know maybe it can be that if you got a mom that you and her are really close, and y'all talk a lot and you talk every day and you share a lot of things, there's still some things that will never put you on the level of your mom.
Exactly.
When I became a man and I'm a man, I got my own kids. I was never on the level with my father. There's nowhere close to being on the level with my father. And I thank you for that analogy.
The Bible has a good list of qualities that I'm going to have to say a Christian mom should do, because everyone does not achieve those things. They don't even believe in some of that. But, they get up early before everybody. Before
the chiefs sometimes.
Yeah. Or they're checking on us, making sure everybody's, hey, it's time for school, get up, and all of that. I mean, it's not just I'm in the bed, she's in the bed, and we take care of ourselves. No, she set the tone in the house, And again, when I mentioned about cooking every day, that's a blessing too. Now that I look at it, I was like, wow, man, we had a meal every day, and some desserts too.
Right.
But not only that, there were 4 of us, and she gave time to all of us. I don't think any of us were or suffering because of not having attention from my mother. I remember if I wanted something, if I really wanted something, I would always tell my dad first, and he always go ask your mother.
Right.
I was like, oh, okay.
That's what we did.
Because normally if I get a no from him, then I just don't need to talk to him because he's going to squash it anyway.
Right.
But, when it comes to buying a car, I mean, I didn't have all the money I needed growing up as a kid. And my first car, I had to save some of the money and they matched it. And, my mom stepped in and said, you got to pay me back. But I remember when the crack epidemic in Washington, D.C. was really, really bad. And had all these babies being born. She would go with some of her friends to the hospital and just sit there and hold these babies, on a regular basis. She didn't do it just one time. On a regular basis, she did that. So she spread her love and her affection outside of the home as well. Mm-hmm. And, she was always at church, though.
Yeah, that was our mom as well.
Yeah. She made sure her kids were there, too. Made sure that we weren't cutting up. She did she would say stuff, don't do this, don't do that. But when it got beyond her patient level, then it got to the
father.
Yeah, and he would handle it.
Yeah, don't make me tell your daddy on you.
So we knew that she would keep her word. It wasn't just talk.
Yeah, she would do it.
I think that might be that might have been a universal thing because I said, my mom is Asian, but she always threw that in. Just wait till your daddy gets home. We're like, Ma.
Yeah. Don't do that, Mom.
Yeah.
And sometimes
I'm gonna be right. I'm gonna get right.
Yeah, and sometimes if you straighten up and do what everything you're supposed to do, she wouldn't tell. And you look at her and she look at you, and at some point in time you think she ain't gonna tell it. She's not gonna say anything, and everything is okay that day. So in society, in our community, as we all have, we're going to talk about this in a few minutes. We all have sit down in front of that thing we call the television or the TV, the one-eyed monster that my dad used to fuss about us all the time. What the TV is still studying. So there's been a whole lot of shows that come up with and we call it the TV mom. So we're gonna take a few minutes to just kind of talk about what were some of your favorite TV moms and why were they your favorite? What did they bring to the table that make you like, wow, she's a good mom, or she's not too good of a mom? So let's I got a list of moms that I used to watch on TV. So we just gonna kind of all talk about them a little bit. I remember this was going way back. I kind of dated myself. The Brady Bunch. Remember that TV show, The Brady Bunch, where the guy married the lady who had 3 kids. Now they got 6.
Her name was Carol Brady.
Carol Brady. And I remember her being, cooking. She had Alice, the maid. She was still there in the kitchen cooking and actually this was a good TV show of blended families. Mm-hmm. Where the guy had his 3 kids and the lady had her 3 kids. And I remember seeing her, and then I was a kid then, but I remember seeing her coming in and taking a problem that the siblings had and not taking her daughter's side because that was my daughter, but sometimes taking the son's side. And see her watch out those, fix those family problems. And I think that, like I said, that was weird in my opinion, and I didn't know anything about the blended family. I didn't know, I didn't know anything about that. But now that I look back and doing the work that we do and dealing with a lot of blended family, I see how that TV show really taught people how to be a blended family and how to work, the different age groups and how to blend that family together.
Yeah. Another thing that probably was more prevalent when you and I were coming through. We're right there together.
About 2 months apart?
Yeah. Mom stayed home.
Mom stayed home.
Mine didn't. My mother worked, and that's something I was going to leave out. I didn't want to leave out. She could have worked all day, but when she comes home, she's working again.
Right.
Making sure that house is full.
Right.
But yeah, Cal Brady. All the moms weren't the best.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they were moms on TV, they weren't the best mothers.
Mm-hmm.
But I like. Now I used to watch Married with Children all the time when I was coming out there. And Peggy Bundy, she didn't do a thing all day. I mean, she did.
She did. She sat on the couch and she ate bonbons.
Sat on the couch and
watched her stories.
Yes, and that was it.
So
These people, I don't know. You never see them eat, and it's, I don't know. I don't know. Al would just pull his hair out if he could on the show. But that was one of the mothers that I'm glad my mom wasn't.
Well, like
Peg Bundy. Yeah.
Right.
But you had June Cleaver, Leave It to Beaver. She was another stay-at-home mom, and she did her mom thing. She was either cooking or cleaning or ironing clothes or getting the boys ready for school. She was just doing things in the home all day.
Right.
So
tell me, one of your TV moms.
So when you asked about that, two people came to mind immediately. So the first one, of course, was Claire Huxtable from The Cosby Show.
Mm-hmm.
I think she probably had one of the greatest impacts on me as a TV mom, as far as TV moms go, because I was in that age range where I could have been her child. So a lot of the things that they were dealing with on that show, I mean, I could empathize with the characters on the show because, some of those things, were part of my reality too, having grown up. I was born in the 70s, but grew up, in the 80s. So she was very impactful on my life. And I loved how she conducted herself. She never had to scream. She never had to yell at these kids, but she was one of those mothers. She could give you that look and then follow it up with something real succinct.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you understood exactly what that meant and you would straighten up, and that to me was closer to my existence growing up. But then the second person that comes to mind is Estelle Getty's character on The Golden Girls.
Okay.
Yeah.
I loved her so much. She was probably like polar opposites of Claire Huxtable.
Right,
she was very sassy. She was very feisty, but she had a really good sense of humor. Right. And I love to laugh. And that is something that my parents also passed down to us as well. Just this, the gift of laughter.
Right.
So I think I enjoyed her as a mom too.
Right. The thing about Claire Huxtable, like when James and I, we share so many stories. I mean, our life was similar. As growing up, even though I was in Benson, North Carolina, he was in Maryland, we had a lot of, our families parents were similar, our upbringing was similar. Right. And we grew up in a household where mom stayed at home. Well, watching a Huxtable, you seen a very professional lady who was, she was a lawyer. She was a doctor. She was a lawyer. And she was very classy, very well educated, but at the same time, she was a mother. And there was no uncertain terms that she was a matron of that family. Mm-hmm. She did her role. She educated. She disciplined. She did everything that she needed to do. And I think that kind of, in our lifetime, that opened up my thinking to, my mom was what I saw all day, every day at home. I didn't see her out in the community working. That to me opened up this kind of a world that you can go out and work a full-time job and still be a full-time mom, take care of your family, take care of your husband, do all the things that you need to do, be a voice in the community, and still be very successful.
And that's so true because they make it, I don't want to say that. It has been said that those women were just super women. But no, there's a lot of cases where a mom did those very same things.
And that's happening today. I mean,
Yeah.
you talk about TV moms that we all can identify with, and we watch them. But there's people every day, all day, in a lot of households are doing that professional, working, holding down a full-time job, with a career, with a business, coming home, being a wife, being a successful parent, part of the school, going to the PTA meetings,
Yes.
doing the whole 9 yards, staying up at night when the kids are asleep and everybody else is asleep, and she's up ironing, putting away clothes, nurturing this child who now everybody else is asleep except for this sick child. Mom is up doing that. And I've watched my mom and we all watched that happen. And so, go ahead.
I'm sorry. And while we're still talking about Claire Huxtable, I was also going to say that for me, growing up as a little girl, watching Claire Huxtable in this professional role, it was very aspirational.
Right. And we're going to go along with this. One more mom that I want to talk about, because I know we're getting down to the wire. And this is one of my favorite TV moms. I don't know. I do know why a lot of you. But Florida Evans and Good Times. I mean, she was. They were growing up in hard times. They was in the middle of the ghetto with a lot of crime. Wasn't a whole lot of meat, a whole lot of food. They were struggling. James was struggling, but she always was seen to be the one that James, we can make it.
Yep.
When he got down and out and frustrated because things wasn't right, she was the one to say, she believed in JJ. She believed in, and all that was comical. People laughed. But the bottom line and the message that was so evident to me, that if you could be in a poor family and not have anything, the lights are going off and you got the radio on and the TV on and the lamp on, the power go off in this jacked up apartment complex that they lived in. But at the same time, have the joy and the peace of a loving family.
There was a lot of love in that house.
Yeah, it was passed around from Michael to JJ to Thelma, and that collaboration that to me was one of the and it comes on the day, I could be in the bed and watching and flip through the channel, and I see JJ and Florida F. I'm going to stop. I love JJ, he's funny, but all of them to me add something to the table, and Florida brought that matriarch. That strength of a good, solid woman who, even though they didn't have much, they had each other.
Something that mothers did also, or I'll just say my mom did also, was teach us.
Yes.
Teach us how to clean. Teach us, each of my siblings, my youngest brother wasn't around at the time, but we had to wash dishes. So I had Sundays and Wednesdays, and I still remember my days, and each of my siblings had 2 days out the week, and then she would end up doing them on Saturdays or something like that. But they did. My brothers and my sister all learned how to cook from her, and I was like, man, wow, where was I? What was I doing? Because I can't, as they say, burn water.
One of my mentors used to tell me all the time: some things are taught. Some things are caught. And being around mothers and watching them do things, they teach you, but you also pick up on a whole lot of stuff that they don't say verbally, but being around them is very important. So I know we're gonna kind of wrap up, and I know the French Prince of Bel-Air, I think he had 2 TV moms. What's his name? Will Smith. He had 2 TV moms, and each one of them played different roles, and I like both of them. One of them that would take me way back was Granny, the Beverly Hillbillies. How she used to cook the bills, and Jed Clampett was the man, but Granny was the one who set the stage for Jeffro and Ellen May.
A blended family.
That was a blended family. That was another example of the blended family, and so it's just a lot. Little House on the Prairie. My wife loves the Little House on the Prairie. She can watch 10 episodes, and she talk about the mom. She talk about So those family, everybody loves Raymond. Everybody loves Ray. Everybody hates Chris.
Mhm.
The mother figure of Chris, how she always pushed him to do the right thing and make sure that he was disciplined. So it's a, anyway, I love these
Examples of
examples of
moms.
TV moms,
Yes.
and so as we wrap this up, we want everybody to just kind of reminisce as you go out in the community and think. And I know we're ending this month, Mother's Day, but Mother's has always been a part of our
It's every day.
everyday.
It's Mother's Day every day.
They are the heroes in our life. Next week we're gonna get our props for fathers, but this month, it's all about moms, and we really appreciate the moms. And unfortunately, we're gonna have to end this episode. My production team has looked at me and given me all kind of emoji that's not fun emoji, and I have to wrap this up. But we'll see you next time. And I just want to thank you for the opportunity to come and share. And I want to thank my my partner in crime, my co-host James Jackson.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I also want to thank Tammy for coming and being part of this at the last minute. We're not going to take you back the way. I'm not going to call her name out on the broadcast. One day I'm going to tell that. But thank you for stepping in and being a part of this conversation and helping us to reflect on motherhood and the community. So again, thank you so much for what you're bringing to the table, and we'll talk to everybody later.
Thanks for having me.
Okay,
Bye.
all right, bye-bye. Here's 3 ways you can support our Dads at a Distance initiative. Give a copy to a family member, our friend. Donate monthly, a book monthly, 5 books monthly, how many books you want to do monthly donation. Reverse book signing, your church, your business. You can make a donation go to our website at www.afatherforever.com and go to our PayPal at Fathers Forever. Our Cash App is $Fathers Forever. Make your donation today. Please include in the note section, include DAAD. Again, include in the note section DAAD.